This short video will teach you how to read the basics of tab. Tab is a method of writing and reading music for stringed instruments such as the guitar, the bass and the ukulele. In this example we're going to look at tab for the guitar. What you have when you see tab is horizontal lines, and each of these lines represents a string on the instrument. So we can see here that the first string, which is the thinnest string on the guitar, is represented by the top line of tab. And then going down we have the second string, and going lower in pitch we have the third string and the fourth string, and then the fifth string, and finally the bottom line represents the sixth string, which is the thickest string on the guitar. As well as having the horizontal lines representing the strings, you also have, now when you see numbers on tab, these represent the frets. The fret is where you place your finger on the guitar to produce notes of different pitches. So if you saw a number 1 on tab, you would put your finger behind the first fret, and number 2 behind the second fret, number 3 the third fret, and so on. Let's have a look at an example. So here we can see we have the number 1 here, but let's not worry about what the number means for now. Let's just have a look what line it's on. So we can see that it's on this bottom line here. That represents the sixth string on the guitar. Now you'll see that there are no other numbers on any of the other lines. That means I am not going to play any of those strings. I only play the string which has the number on it. So I know which string I'm going to play. Now I've got to figure out what the 1 means. Well, the 1 means I'm going to put my finger behind the first fret here. So it's 6th string, first fret. That dot tells me where I need to put my finger, just behind the fret. So put my finger on it, press down hard, and I will produce this note. Let's have a look at another example. So here I can see I've got a different number now. It's on the same line, so I'm still the same string. I'm going to play the 6th string. There are no other numbers on any of the other lines, so I'm not going to play any of those strings. So now I've just got to work out what the 3 means. Well, it means I'm going to play at the 3rd fret. So I would put my finger where that red dot is, just behind the 3rd fret, still the same string, but now it's going to produce a different note, which would sound like this. So the higher the number, it means the higher pitch that the note is going to be. Let's have a look at a bit more of an advanced example here. You can see now that I've got more than one note. So as I'm going along here, I'm going to play different notes. So the first thing, let's have a look. I've got a number 3. Which line is it on? It's on the 5th string line. So I'm going to play the 5th string at the 3rd fret. That's what the number 3 means. That tells me where I need to put my finger, so I press my finger there and I would get this note. Moving along, after I've played that note, I've now got this number here. Now it's on a different string. It's on the 4th string, so I'm going to move up to this string, and now it's a number 1, so it's telling me 4th string at the 1st fret. That's where I put my finger, and it would sound like this. Moving on to the next note, same string, so I'm staying on this string, but it's now saying a 3, so that means I'm going to move up to the 3rd fret, which is there. So I'm just sliding my finger up, place my finger on it, and it would sound like this. So if I was reading tab and I wanted to play that whole little phrase there, notes one after the other smoothly, it would sound like this. Now let's have a look at what a 0 means when you see that on tab. You can see here I've got a 0 and it's on the top line, so now we know that that's going to be the first string I'm going to play. What a 0 means is you are going to play the string without putting any fingers on any frets. Think of it as playing the string O for open. So here I would just pluck the thinnest string, which is the first string. 0 means open, no fingers on the frets, and it would sound like this. final thing we want to look at is what we do when we see notes directly on top of each other. We saw in the previous example we had notes one after the other, we're playing individual notes. Now you can see that these notes are stacked directly on top of each other. That means that we're going to play them all at the same time. So we need to put our fingers in position and we would hit the strings at the same time and we would produce what we call a chord. So let's just have a look at this. So we have a 0 there, then we have a 2, a 2, a 2, and then a 0 there. So what does this look like when we take it over to the fretboard? So the 5th string, I'm going to play open. The 4th string, I'm going to be at the 2nd fret. The 3rd string, I'm going to be at the 2nd fret. The 2nd string, I'm going to be at the 2nd fret. And then the 1st string, the thinnest one, I'm going to be open again. So what I would do is I would use a finger each there. And then because they are on top of each other, I play them all at the same time and I would get this chord. Finally, we've looked at the example for the guitar, which has 6 strings, and that's having 6 lines representing those strings. But you can also have tab for bass, and you can have it for ukulele, any string instrument basically. Exactly the same concept, the only difference is the number of lines. The guitar has 6 strings, so we have 6 lines. The bass only has 4 strings, so you would have 4 lines, and the same with the ukulele. Hopefully this has given you an understanding of how to read the basics of tab.